commission meeting to order. And the first item this evening is going to be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so much for coming. Next item is going to be public comment, and I understand we have no public comment. So the next item this evening is going to be the consent agenda.
Public comment?
Did he sign in?
There, no one signed up.
You can allow them.
You
Okay.
can,
Yeah, you can allow it.
go ahead.
Okay, please. Just state your name, your address, please, and we ask to limit the public comment to 5 minutes.
Okay. My name is Frank Catallo. I'm president of the Senior Center Board, and I live in 1413 Rockwell Drive. And I don't know if you got my letter or not, but the Senior Center Board had authorized me to come to you and request for funds of $25,000 to help out the senior center. And it's not 2 minutes, but that's simple as that. If you have any question, did you get my letter, by the way?
She did, but I brought it up last week during budget.
Yeah, I just got the letter tonight, and I have not read it.
Oh, okay. But that was my request of $25,000 for the senior center. And we're just asking for a little bit of help. As you know, there's been some talks about cutting some funds with the state and also cutting some funds with the federal government. That's the reason why I'm here to ask for, just in case what happens, if there's any cut, that we'd be able to compensate for that, for those cuts, because it's going to hurt the senior center. It's going to hurt not a lot of seniors, but some seniors in this community. So that's the reason why we're asking for some help of amount of $25,000.
Mr. Cattell, is there anything in particular that the senior center is requesting for that $25,000?
Say it again.
Is there anything in particular that the senior center is looking, or is that just $25,000 to go towards a renovation, towards a kitchen?
No,
towards
it's
programs?
no, it's the $25,000 just in case there's a cut in the like, for example, Meals on Wheels.
Okay.
Because that's been talked about. Meals on Wheels in the state level and also with the federal government.
Okay.
So you don't know of any cuts at this time? It's
Not
just,
at this time. No cuts pending at this time.
okay.
Just in case that happens, and we're prepared for it.
How much funding do you receive from the county each year?
We receive about $201,200. A lot of those monies are for expenses, to keep the senior center going. And if there was no cut, if there's no budget cut at all, we would probably put that money, with the other miscellaneous things that we need. There's always something happening with the senior center that we can use the funds. But that's the reason why we asked, the senior center board had asked, just in case there's a cut.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Okay, next item is going to be the consent agenda.
The questions I submitted were answered. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
I'd move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. Next item this evening is going to be special presentations, with the first one being the presentation of the Prairie Heritage Book Award by Commissioner Sands.
Madam Mayor, I would ask for you to hold off on that to give the presenters to get here. They were supposed to be here at 7 o'clock, and they're not here, so can we give them a few items down the road there?
Okay, not a problem there.
Thank you.
Next item this evening then is going to be the proclamation recognizing the 100th anniversary of the 1st Infantry Division by Mayor Fitzgerald. So, sir. Okay. Good evening, sir. The City of Junction City recognizing the Big Red One proclamation, whereas the 1st Infantry Division was officially organized on June 8, 1917 in New York City before embarking to France and England to defeat the Central Powers, and whereas the Big Red One, appropriately named due to its well-known and readily identified shoulder patch, was the first to fight in World War I, World War II, and Vietnam, and was the first to return to Iraq in 2014. And whereas the 1st Infantry Division soldiers continue to be on point for the nation with soldiers globally deployed, and whereas since 1917, more than 13,000 soldiers of the 1st Infantry Division have paid the ultimate sacrifice, and whereas the 1st Infantry Division, America's 1st Division, has a proud and honorable history which reflects the heart of the American soldier. Having fought in 5 wars, the 1st Infantry Division is one of the most decorated divisions in the United States Army. It boasts 35 Medal of Honor recipients and more than 35 campaign participation credits. And whereas Fort Riley serves as the home of the Big Red One, and whereas Junction City has been the supporting community of Fort Riley since the beginning of the installation and continues to recognize a strong relationship between the city and the brave soldiers who serve our nation. Now, therefore, I, Phyllis Fitzgerald, a Big Red One soldier and mayor of Junction City, Kansas, recognize the 100th anniversary of the 1st Infantry Division and the service the Big Red One has given in protecting our nation's freedom. The city of Junction City pays honor to the Army's oldest and 1st Division. No mission too difficult, no sacrifice too great. Phyllis Fitzgerald, Mayor of Junction City, Kansas.
Who?
Thing I would just like to point out to everybody tonight up front, you can kind of see some of the artwork that we have displayed tonight. We had reached at the end of the school year with USD 475, and also the mayor of Manhattan reached out to USD 383 and asked the art department if their children would be interested in also doing some artwork to help celebrate the 100th anniversary of the 1st Infantry Division. So the art that you see tonight is just a small sampling. And these are 4th and 5th graders from Washington Elementary School, Granby Plaza, Milford, Sites Elementary, Ware Elementary, and Fort Riley Elementary School on post. And on post, they are have their artwork also displayed at the division quarters, the brigade headquarters, and throughout the installation on post. So that's just another way of our school districts honoring the soldier and the 1st Infantry Division on their 100th anniversary. So thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. Just thank you very much for the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. I have familial ties to the division. My father fought with the division in Desert Storm. My brother and I both currently serve here in Fort Riley, so I just want to say how much of an honor it is for me to accept this on behalf of the Big Red One. Duty first.
Okay, next item this evening is going to be under new business, and that's going to be the consideration to renew the employee health insurance plan with Freedom Claims Management and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas for the period beginning August the 1st, 2017.
Is that Rockhead? Okay.
You want to do there?
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, it's Julie Armour, and Julie's from
Good
Freedom
evening.
Claims Management in Great Bend. A year ago, we made a switch in our plan. We went to, as I called it last year, self-insured on training wheels. Still call that. We went to a plan, a Blue Cross. All the employees are covered by Blue Cross under a health savings account plan, And then we double down or stack this underneath it, a plan called Freedom 105, correct?
Yes.
Freedom 105, where the employees are offered a traditional type deductible. They have a choice of a $1,000 deductible and a $2,500 deductible, whatever they choose. We pay 80% of a single plan of the $1,000 deductible. So if they want cheaper, they go to the $2,500 and they have less out of their pocket. And the plan still, what makes it different than a traditional HSA type plan or health savings account is the employees do still have a prescription card. 15
And office visit copays.
and office visit copays as well.
So they have a 15, 40, 75 copay on their prescriptions.
$20 office visit.
Yes.
For normal office visits, 50 for a specialist. And so the plan is virtually the same. You know, the difference they have is when they go to the doctor, they present 2 cards. But a lot of us in this room will present 2 cards, and some of us will present 2 cards in the future. It's just the way life is nowadays. So the plan, I think, has worked extremely well. Julie can talk a little bit about our savings we've had this year. The good thing about it is, and then aside also last year, we did, and probably the thing that caused us more grief, and it wasn't that bad, was we switched our dental from Delta to Blue Cross. And the biggest problem was is they pay the same. They're basically the same plan. The difference was a lot of providers in town were now blue providers, but most of them are becoming blue providers now because the county went blue as well. So it was just a matter. I know the dentist my wife goes to switched over, and so I mean to get all switched. And so that's not as big as issue, but it was just that transition getting over there. And even then, it was still covered, but it was reimbursed a little bit differently. They had to pay for it first and get it back. But it's the same plan basically. Dental plans are interesting. In fact, one that we have, in my mind, is a limited plan. It covers 2 cleanings a year, two inspections, cleanings.
Uppers and lowers?
Uppers and lowers, both ends. You bet. Uppers and lowers.
Oh, is every other? Or?
No, thank you. And up to $1,500. You know, it's a limited benefit, but it's one that everybody likes to have. It doesn't cover orthodontia. Our plan does not, and we haven't invested in that type of plan. You know, you can find those plans, but they get expensive, and you're trying to fit a whole group, and then it becomes kind of an outlier there. So plans have both worked for us. But what we're recommending tonight, and I'll let Julie explain a little bit, is to continue our same plan. Our Blue Cross part of the plan, basically we had a flat rate. We had no increase. I mean, there was one section that went down 0.1%, and another one went up 0.2%, and back and forth. So we basically have a flat. You know, we have 4 categories. We have single, employee, spouse, employee, child, and then family. And we had no rate increase from Blue Cross. The good part about it is also, aside from the savings that Julie's going to talk about, we are going to probably receive, unless something crashes, I sure don't expect it, by our end of our plan there in July 31st, a refund from Blue Cross because we had an exceptional year. And that money will come back to the city, and we put our employee benefit fund. That and the savings we have month to month, our plan right now, are put in an employee benefit fund. In the future, like you would have if you had a self-insured, you bank that money to prevent future increases or to levelize them out. I think we're on the road to doing that. The city had been moving towards a fairly healthy group anyhow, no big claims, but this year was even better yet. We had no claims over 25,000, which in this size group is phenomenal.
It is.
So we were a healthy group, and I think we've had some good savings there. And like I said, I think the plan has worked. The biggest was the switch in dental, but I think that since providers are becoming blue providers and they're meeting that need. So we looked at our dental options, but I don't want to rock the boat yet. And one of them would be the self-insured, which I think is a possibility down the road, but this will give us another year. We also got to realize that the refund we'll get back from Blue Cross, and we'll announce when we get it this fall, includes our savings in dental as well. It's tied together. So it's not just the medical institute. And right now we think it could be substantial. I'm not going to give you a number, but it could be substantial because we've had a great year. Julie?
Last year, you know, when everyone made the decision to go to the 2-card system, buying the high deductible with Blue Cross and Blue Shield and having the underlying Freedom Choice plan and the potential savings that we discussed a year ago, We well exceeded that this last year. As Mr. Nichols said, the utilization with Blue Cross and Blue Shield was very minimal, that you'll be expecting a refund back from that, in addition to building up savings underneath the Freedom Choice Plan, with us doing that as secondary. So what you do is you take that, knowing that come next year, if you have any kind of an increase, you have this what you've built up this last year to take care of anything coming this next year. But the first year was phenomenal on how the group worked. I wished all of my plans were as picture perfect as this one, with the savings that you had in the Freedom Choice Plan, the Freedom 105 Plan, and also with Blue Cross and Blue Shield, the decision made last year. It enables you to give the employees an excellent benefit with the dual option and then keep their costs down. I know that was a discussion last year, and it's a discussion everywhere with the cost of health care, is how do we keep that employee benefit, their out-of-pocket down, and then keep their premiums down. And by making the decisions that you did last year has done that this year, that you can continue with the same benefit and the same employee premium and not have to look at any increases this year.
Do you have any information on the I plan?
Our I plan is a voluntary plan.
Is it
It's,
part of this program here?
Giselle coming up. Let's introduce Giselle too, 'cause she knows about that plan. It's actually off to the side.
Oh, so it's not, okay.
Yeah, it's not part of this.
Part of
No.
this.
Let me introduce Giselle. This is Giselle Rivera.
Hi.
Giselle is our new HR director. This is her 4th week.
Okay.
So she's learning the plan, and so
Yeah, the
for the all
vision,
day, maybe I normally would. Next year, she'll handle it all. But she's learning quickly.
yeah, the vision plan is offered through AFLAC, and we'll be doing that and enrolling people and discussing that during open enrollment, which will be on July 6th.
Thank you.
Yeah, we offer AFLAC plans, be it from cancer to different disabilities and hospital insurance, but those are all employee option plans.
Yes.
The plans we're talking about tonight is those that the city offers financial, including, is it $20,000, $25,000 term life?
Yes.
Life disability.
Yeah, life disability, so short-term
Short-term
disability.
disability.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
In looking at this on page 4 there, page 66, where it had the options 1 and 2, and I looked at the bottom, and I'm only asking because I don't know for sure, but it actually looks like even though option 2 has a higher deductible plan of $2,500, it actually looks like it comes out better in the long run if you have a family. Is that the way that reads? It's page 4 of your plan.
It depends how you get sick. I'll use me as an example, since I'm a good case this year. I'm a high deductible kind of a guy, because my monthly, instead of me doing $798 $1,000 a month, I'm doing $798. So I do that. I met 2 deductibles this year, first time ever that Dinkle family met 2 deductibles.
Okay.
Myself and Macy. I probably would have been better off with the lower deductible. If only me would have met deductible and Macy wouldn't have,
Okay.
I'd have been better off with the higher deductible. I'm taking more risk, and that's what employees have to decide they want to do, of course. Some don't like to have that risk. They like that. I think deductible is always one of those things, and Julie can comment this as well. A lot of employees get stuck in their head with the deductible amounts and what it is. Very few employees meet deductible. While we offer in our plan, which I like about this plan, is we offer first dollar payments. We offer copay on your drugs. If you had a traditional HSA type plan without this underneath, your drugs wouldn't cover till you spend $6,350. Now, you can finance some of that, but it's difficult sometimes for employees to do that. And this is kind of that happy medium between. Same way with doctor's visit. It's first dollar coverage. You know, you go to the doctor, it's a $100 visit, let's say, you get 20 paid, you pay 20, you get 80 paid right up front, which I think is a good benefit for our employees as well.
So at open enrollment meetings, we'll sit down and we'll be able to answer those questions for the employees on which plan might work best for them based on their medical conditions. If it's someone that hardly ever goes to the doctor, maybe just for cold or flu preventive, is covered at 100%. So your woman exams, well man exams, childhood immunizations do not apply to any copays or deductibles. So if it's something that you just get a cold or flu once or twice a year, then the higher deductible plan, because you have your first dollar office visit copays, you have your prescription copays. So that would be the better plan. But we will sit down and go through that with the employees that do have questions.
Because I was all in option 1 there until I got to the end of option 2, and I was like, whoa, that monthly, but They both sound like they're good plans, and I appreciate what the city manager said. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
And our dental rate's the exact same as last year, too. So $0 change.
Okay. Are we looking for a motion?
No.
Nope, we don't need to do anything on it.
Okay. And my folks are here now.
We need a motion.
Need a motion to approve the contract.
I would move to approve the plan for year beginning on August 1, 2017, as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
None here.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same side. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, Jim, you want to go ahead and do your, next, we're going to go ahead and back up to presentation, special presentations, and Jim, Commissioner Sands will be doing a presentation of the Prairie Heritage Book Award.
If I could get Mr. Haddock. Freeman. And Ms. Bear. One of them I'm going to give a check, and the other one I think you already have a check. So I'm going to ask you if you would, you come up here, and feel free to take pictures. I always like that, so it's like a one-time, it's like I didn't move forward. So this evening, I'm the president of the Prairie Heritage Book Award, and about once a year, we get about anywhere from 15 to sometimes 40 books to read. I read one or two complete, because I usually have a different type of book to read. But this evening, we're going to present a $1,000 check for this year's winner, and I'm going to do that right now. And the certificate reads, the Jan Garden Prairie Heritage Book Award is hereby awarded to Michael John Haddock for authorship of Kansas Wildlife Flowers and Weeds, University Press of Kansas, 2015. And this was a very, very lovely book. I'm going to get my pen here so I can sign this. I wouldn't use blood, but
Here's a copy.
this book here was totally beautiful. Not everybody's from Kansas, but they talk about Kansas and our history. And I love history, I just can't remember it. That's why I have good people around me to help me. But this book here is just simply beautiful. When you open it up, it is the beauty of Kansas. And I appreciate, when my wife got this, she said, I'll do that one. So that's the great thing about having somebody who reads in excess of 1,000 words a minute and reads a book a day. So I didn't read them, but I kind of got.
So she's up on her technical Latin and things like that.
She's pretty good at that. Yes. But I really appreciate you coming out and the hard work that goes into this. And when you see a book that size, you've done some research. The pictures were great. Oh, it's a party here. And so with that, Mr. Haddock, I want to present to you a $1,000 check. I'll take it. You have yours already. But
Send it back here.
I'll just,
you're
going to give it away.
Podium's not really that beautiful from that side.
Well, I don't want to
You're right there, fine. Anything that you want to amend, come on up here. From back there, we look like that small. All right. So this is a $1,000 check. I appreciate, I'm gonna leave that attached so it doesn't fall off. But I really appreciated, this book was wonderfully written, and it really represents Kansas. Thank you. Let's do this here.
Yeah, do that one more time. One more time.
Good? All right, that one's for you. And I believe I have two more. So you would be Janet. All right. Now, from what I understand, Janet's already got a check, right?
She gets a copy of the book. There are 3 authors, and they can split it up.
Oh, this is even better.
No, it gets really exciting once we leave the room.
Janet, I want to thank you for the same, again, a lovely book. Something like that took a lot of time to put together. And I want to present that to you, Ms. Janet Bear. And the same award is awarded to Mr. Craig Steve Freeman. I need to back up because I went too fast on that there. So let me do that again with you. So we're going to turn that around like this here. And we're going to hold it. Your hand.
Is that possible?
That's That's a good one?
Yeah.
All right. And Ms. Janet, thank you, and Mr. Craig Freeman, thank you, and I'll present that to you, and we can all smile. Now, if you would, just stand right there, and now I'll just stand here, if you would, break your camera one more time.
Sure.
It's already broke.
Don't turn that camera around. Thank you so much.
Did you
We really
photobomb it?
appreciate it. And again, we look forward to seeing more projects from you, but again, book that day takes a long.
We appreciate you reading it.
Thank you for coming to Junction City, and again, we appreciate everything that you do.
Thanks for having us.
Our state. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Miss Margie, did you want your book back? Because I told you I was going to keep it if I got my hands on it.
No, I've got to have that book back.
I want that other book.
Unless you want to buy it.
Thank you, Jim. That was beautiful, thank you.
Madam Mayor, we can.
On it. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back into new business. The next item this evening is going to be the discussion of additional needs for the sanitary sewer system on South Spring Valley Road.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, last meeting there was some talk about other people in that Spring Valley area, why they're on septic and why they didn't get in city sewer. Did a lot of research, or Cheryl led it for me, so. One is some of the houses that were mentioned last time that were north of Ash Street on the east side of Spring Valley were not brought into the city under the same annexation process. It appears that them, along with the corner of, southwest corner of Ash or Liberty Hall Road and Spring Valley, were brought in by petition. In other words, they says, we want to be in the city so we can get city water. So they were not included. The ones we've dealt with last fall and the ones we're talking about now, I mean, pass it around, but Troy from the county, Cheryl had Troy do a map, and it bases the purple area here, and we addressed some of these last year. We still have a problem down here. It's not on that map there. We can pass it around if you want. And then the rest of it, like the blue where I live, is in there, but that's been taken care of a long time ago, and I'm not sure how it was, but it was. So it's the purple area.
The purple is the only ones from
Yeah.
2006 that we're dealing with, right?
Right, because the rest are done. And how they got done, I don't know. Also, that piece south of the interstate,
In the yellow.
yellow, that hasn't been addressed either yet, I don't think.
Have we
completely.
addressed on there? The blue?
The purple.
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 That purple is what we've already taken care of.
No.
No. That
That's
was,
what we're addressing now. The east side of Spring Valley, we took care of most of that except for Thornburg, because he's gonna have to go that direction. The west side of Spring Valley is what we're dealing with right now. The other pieces, they were all, everything on that map was included in the 2006 annexation. But like where I live, for example, I don't know how it was taken care of, but it was done years ago, and I'm not sure what method was used or who paid for it. I don't know.
in the resolution that you guys have been presented, those are all, the blue, the yellow, the purple, and
We're part of
whatever
that
color
one.
that is, we're all on that, but the blue's already been taken care of. The purple, you've taken care of part of it already and have a remainder left to do, and the yellow is left to be done.
Leon, can you mark on here the purple that we've taken care of?
The east side of Spring Valley,
That
East
whole
side.
except for
okay.
the way south one.
Cheryl, is all of that from 2006?
Yes.
So what's been taken care of that?
These are not, right?
That is correct. That's Willie Thornburg.
This one is not.
That is Strauss.
I don't know how mine got there. Did it get put in by the city? Did somebody do it? I have no idea.
Mine, Smalls.
I don't pay specials.
So the
but
ones
These
on the
are
other
not.
side are not.
For a lot
They
of
have
persons,
sewer
so maybe he.
They have sewer on that
accessibility
side.
because they're tied in behind
Mhm.
the addition.
They can tie in behind.
Yeah, they can tie in from the rear. Actually, Strauss's old house, I think, has a service line that could hook in pretty
It
easily.
does. Okay, it's already there.
Basically, what we discovered was the only house that you have where line extension would go to be that one in the corner is not included in the petition and would have to, you guys would have to make a decision on what you want to do, what you want to charge them for a connection.
Richard Roth's, he voluntarily come in to get city water because he couldn't get. Rural Water District hookup at that time.
But if he wants to hook into sewer, then
You
he
would have to
One option
decide what
that-
you're going to
One option we
charge
could
him.
do on his
would come to us for that.
would be
hasn't he?
not to, would be to stop, on the map we showed last week in your packet.
Can stop.
It had it going up and then taking a
turn.
90 to the east.
You could stop.
He could stop it here, and then at the future, if he ever wants it, he could build to us. That'd be another option.
Yeah, that would make the project cost
Yeah.
less.
Last week, we talked about this here where Richard lives at, coming in from behind,
Yes.
correct?
But you could
Richard Ro-
stop at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
He could stop right to the south of his lot.
And his is the only one that petitioned in, and the one on the corner of Ash and, on the east side of Ash and,
Yeah, anybody over there came in annexed by a
different
different
method.
method.
So are we planning on maintaining or continuing septic systems on those properties in
Well,
the
that
future?
would, they fit the city ordinance that was passed in 13? Where you allowed
13,
them
yeah.
on the fair, on the McFarland's.
Right. Well, so did the ones down here. They fit the same thing, except for the one failed.
Right.
Right.
Now they
Yet-
don't though.
Yet the other 7 were required to tie on in 5 years.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Because they also, there was a request of the owners over there, at least one.
Right.
And the city moved forward with the $190,000 expenditure.
Yeah, we also didn't run a line along McFarland either. We didn't provide it for them. So if we would have provided along McFarland, they would have had the same agreement that they would have to tie on within 5 years.
And so they can continue to have septic systems. And then this is still county, right?
That is county, correct.
Okay. Okay.
so that plan, just want to have it straight in my mind too, is for the west side of Spring Valley.
We're dealing, our problem house is 1012 South Spring Valley Road. Currently the house to the south.
Which one am
This is the problem child right here. No, this one, Green Street.
Is it Green Street or Wadsworth?
Green Street.
Okay, it's the larger one.
No, Green Street is the narrow one. Chesterman's south of them.
Get the names on there.
Yeah,
The names are on there, but the numbers aren't.
yeah, sure,
It's
sure.
hard when you talk about the numbers.
Okay, yeah.
How many more homes does this cover?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, without Mr. Office.
And Thornburg,
And Thornburg's clear at the other end.
right,
That's correct.
Strauss.
That's what I wanted to know.
Right.
Plus, you'd still have the lots in yellow down there that are what wouldn't be addressed.
The lots yellow, let me,
So Rufus is not included in that?
No.
on that estimate, he was.
Okay.
And that's a choice you can make if you, I mean, it's up to the city commission.
Well, the
I would recommend, but it's not part of the promise.
It's not part of the resolution.
That was made by the 2006 ordinance
Understood.
And he is in the city, or he is not?
in the city.
He's in the
In the
city.
And he is on it, and there is a sewer line behind his house.
Mr. Office?
There-
No.
No.
With this,
With this plan, yes, there would
Yeah,
be.
there
No,
would.
Yes, there
it'd
would.
be, well,
If they built it out.
yeah, we could stop it there right on the north side of,
He wouldn't have a main touching his property line. He'd have to go
you could
across.
stop it at O'Neill's, on the backside of O'Neill's, and he would have to then come south and then west.
With a main line to get to him.
Right.
Or you could choose to run it over there, but, you know,
it's included in your estimate.
Mr. Office is included in that original estimate, yes.
but you take off 240 feet if you did not.
Do you know what it is without?
Pardon me?
Do you know what it is without?
No, I did not run those numbers, but you would roughly take off $50 a foot times 240, $10,000 rough,
$1,000.
$1,000.
240 times 5 is 1,200.
200 times 50.
50 times 50.
Oh, you said 50.
Times
Yeah, you're right,
50.
12,000. I didn't go to Junction City High School, so that's the difference.
Yeah,
Well, come on now.
Where'd you get
come on.
$5?
Usually you're telling me the correct
I
number.
know.
And I provided a drawing again this evening that's kind of a recap. Back in 95, 98, we did a study for the city when we, the second sheet. And I just wanted, there was some comment and discussion, are we really looking at the big picture? Well, the second sheet is out of the study we did for the city in 1995, and you'll notice in yellow there is the proposed Southwest Water Treatment Plant, wastewater treatment plant. So we looked at everything as far west that we could from Spring Valley Road and served by gravity. And that's what that drawing represents. The drawing that I've upgraded now onto the aerial photo, which is the top sheet, is kind of chimes in with what we projected back in 95, that all this area can be served with gravity sewer. All the mains have been sized properly to handle with gravity sewer once it's ready. I know we need more flows to the Southwest plant, but there is a possibility someday getting up around the middle school, we could put in lift stations and divert more. But that heavy bold line is actually the break line in elevation. Everything to the north of that heavy bold line needs to go back towards the middle school, down Spring Valley Road and onto the east plant, if we do it by gravity. And everything to the south of that bold line can gravity flow into the Southwest plant. And we projected this out to really Ritter Road. My map here just shows going out to approximately Golf Road. The lots there that you have in yellow wouldn't be that difficult to serve because we have a major interceptor sewer going down Spring Valley Road. So it would take a small main extension east parallel on the north side of Golden Belt or Old 40, and you could pick all them houses up pretty easily.
So north of Ash Street on the east side of Spring Valley, that all goes north, right?
That goes north, that's correct. There's a small sewer line behind Brent Bish's house, and the one to the south of him are on city sewer right now. And we've done studies and looked at cost, extended it up, I think, years ago. Some of them were having some issues with septic tanks, and about the same time that they wanted to annex, and they never followed through. But there's easements there, it can gravity flow. It's just a matter of when they want to do it. With the developments occurred out there, it's making it a little more expensive because there are a lot more utilities back there and it's tighter.
Chisholm Trail is served by
Chisholm,
sewer, right?
that is on the sewer. Yeah, it goes through part of the Deer Trail, Deer Creek, one of the two.
Does?
Yeah.
So I think where we are now is if we have to decide if we want to move forward with this and go ahead and put it out for bid. I do get calls frequently from Mr. Greenstreet's daughter. She lives in Florida. Since Mr. Greenstreet passed away, she's handling stuff for her mom, and they're in a bad way right now. But if we start today, we're still 60 to 90 days getting it done too. I mean, just like we were last year. Right?
Probably the big issue is going to be getting easements. Right now, I've laid it out on the property that would be involved in the district, but there's some different legal descriptions that go behind some of the houses, so there's going to have to be some meetings with those landowners out there. Or we could jump over onto Burris's property and see if they'd give us an easement and with one landowner, which would benefit their property. So there's a couple options.
Here. Okay.
Do you think the current number that you have down as projected is going to stick? I mean, last time we originally were talking about 130,000, but it jumped about 200 by the end of it.
Right, because we added that on the east side.
Right.
Yeah. This is not going to be a real deep sewer to serve this. Probably the big question I got in my mind, the soils out there are fairly sandy. And the deeper you get, the more expensive it gets because you're going to put a trench box in and lay your slopes back.
But you included that thought.
Yes, I've got just standard depth sewer that's 8 foot deep.
But by including those last two lots, you would delay the project significantly because we'd have to reach an agreement with those two property owners, that the one that's not in the city and the one that and Mr. Rothus, on method and how we would charge them and everything. So you would end up being, it would be a delay if if those people are wanting to get going on this project. We need to just take it to the end and
We do those
stop.
separately, though, I mean.
And do Rothus and the others separately.
Could go to Rothus and decide, we're going to put it there, but you can't hook on until we make some agreement. I'm like Cheryl, I'd cut it off.
Just at the
Here and
end,
at,
because if these people need,
Stuff there and.
yeah, I
Then-
mean, we can do that later.
And he has the opportunity later too.
I think we ought to do that because we need to help these people.
We
out
need to
there.
get going on this project.
Exactly.
It's not something that we should be delaying on.
We made a commitment, we have to follow it.
If Mr. Roth was having problems, that would be a different story, but he's
Sure.
not.
Well, and you're not leaving him out of, I mean,
We can pick them
that's,
up.
that's a fairly fix.
As need be.
A simple fix on his,
That'd be a
with
simple
not
fix,
a,
wouldn't
That'd be simple,
It'd be a very
easy to
simple
add it
fix.
on. I'm going to make an assumption that the O'Neill property, let it run to their north property line and stop.
yeah.
And in theory, you could stop it at Neal's south property line. But
We have-
again,
Do we have to let the other homeowners know that aren't having problems that they are going to be tied into this agreement as well?
No, we're going to have to meet with him anyhow on this easement stuff, so that'll be part of the process.
Okay. So there's no surprises.
What
Anything
we
else?
need is if the commission wants to roll forward.
I'd make a motion that we move forward on this project as presented.
Stopping at the
Not to
end.
include the Rothfuss property.
Yeah, not cutting across, just going straight and stopping. Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Nothing here.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-1. Thank you. Next item this evening is going to be considered the proposal to repair the water plant elevator from ThyssenKrupp Elevator Corporation in the amount of $48,489.
It's some crap, right?
ThyssenKrupp, yep.
Okay, right? Yeah. Let me start a little process now, I'll pass it off these guys. Elevator at the, still the elevator at the water plant is shot. We've looked around a little bit, pricing. They came with a price, then they came back with a better price and added a 10-year guarantee to it. This is the company that goes to the water plant on a monthly basis to maintain it. I think I had an explanation of why, what they maintain this morning in my emails. And this could be handled two ways. One could argue is that we pay Viola to run the plant and do the maintenance. So one option would have been, say, Viola, you handle it. It's a little difficult there because they accrue money through the year, because at the end of the year, they give us a true up. And so that'd be in the process of getting enough money built up. We probably have it at the end of the year, but we don't have it now. And we need this done so we can get the, move forward with the water plant project, because the elevator is going to be needed to move stuff up and down. It was not part of the plan, because if Don would have made it part of the plan for the water plant, it might have been wasted money also, because didn't know it was going to blow, and that's the way things are. Moving forward that way. The advantage of running through the city, as Cheryl pointed out to me, was by city-owned building, is we're sales tax exempt. If we would run through Viola, it's not sales tax exempt. So you're talking $3,000 to $4,000 difference there, which is good for us, and it was a good catch on Cheryl's part there to guide us in that direction. So I'm going to do Nolan, because I don't know their guy's name. So Nolan
Absolutely,
Bristow
yeah.
from ThyssenKrupp.
My name is Nolan Bristow, and this is Travis Haig, and we're with ThyssenKrupp Elevator out of Wichita, Kansas. And we appreciate you letting us come here and kind of educate you of what this process looks like and why it happens. So. we on? Okay, so we start off every meeting with safety. Today, actually, for our branch is 2,000 days without an OSHA recordable incident. So that's over 5 years without a major accident for our technicians. And the reason I bring this up here is because this job is potentially a very dangerous job due to the process that has to be taken to replace this jack. Our technicians are very aware of what they're doing. They're used to this kind of work, and I think 2,000 days in a row reflects that. This is just kind of a quick overview of our branch in Wichita. The biggest thing I want to point out is we have 10 technicians located around the state, including one close by in Manhattan that services the water treatment plant here. And lastly, about ThyssenKrupp is we're the largest elevator company in the United States and in all of the Americas. It's the second largest in the world. We also manufacture all of our materials here in the United States. There's a factory in Middleton, Tennessee, so all of the money spent stays here in the United States. So it's kind of coming out weird, but that's okay. What is an elevator jack? I really like this picture because it kind of shows how deep of a hole this jack goes into the ground. So the jack of an elevator in the cylinder is what pushes the elevator up and down. It's underneath the elevator. And the jack actually goes into the ground as far as that elevator goes up into the air. So it's a really big hole. And what else I like about this picture is you can see there is an encasing around the jack, and there is dirt or sand around that, and there's a water table underneath. So there is potential for some hazards to come up during this process, during this project, and I'll let Travis kind of explain that here in a little bit of something that we could come across if that water table were to exist.
But we don't know if it exists.
We don't know. Correct. So why does a jack go out? The only thing I really want to point out in this picture is you can kind of see a pinhole that is put in this big cylinder. And I'll let Travis kind of explain why that could happen due to electrolysis.
All right, so originally when they started putting elevators in underground, and basically if you look at a car jack, it has that silver cylinder there, and basically that's the same principle as the elevator. But these are buried under the ground. So before the late 80s, they just put a metal cylinder in the ground and said that's good enough. Well, as we know, rust, basically with the sand and the clay, electrolysis happens once water hits there. So basically it just eats a hole in that jack. So it started eating the side of that cylinder out, and then once it gets a pinhole in there, it starts leaking hydraulic fluid out of there. They all across the United States where they actually have an AHJ, which is an authority having jurisdiction, they have required everybody before 1972 to take out their cylinder because there's a single flat bottom. They welded on the bottom. But what they had happen, especially on the East Coast, the electrolysis would eat the weld off, bottom would drop out, and basically the elevator just dropped to the ground as fast as the oil can run out. So between 1972 and 1980, they started putting basically what we call a double bottom cylinder on there. So there's another weld on there that protects the main weld. But they provided no outer protection for the cylinder itself. So electrolysis happened again, and it would eat into the sidewalls of it. Oil would slowly leak out. So there's not a catastrophic incident, but it's just, you start losing hydraulic fluid in the ground. So basically that's what's happened here. We found a hole. We did an annual test on it. It pressurizes this whole system down into the ground and all the 2-inch pipe going to it. And all of a sudden we started having basically oil just starting coming up out of the ground around the concrete block that's holding the cylinder there. So at that point we did a static load test. Is basically we mark the oil level in the tank, shut the elevator off, and let it sit for 15 minutes. And it started coming down quite rapidly, and more oil just started kind of coming up out of the ground. So at that point, we locked it out and notified the powers that be, and now here we are. So that's kind of what's going on.
So that could just happen that fast, even though y'all inspect it all the time? Yeah,
basically. So if there is a small hole in it, when we pressurize it. I mean, you're at 600 PSI through the whole system. So any rust or anything that was a tiny pinhole leak can become a bigger one. And I mean, I've seen some that you do the test, you're filling out the paperwork, and all of a sudden you hear this sucking noise because all the oils just ran out of the tank and you have no clue where it went to. So,
So you have a new design that takes care of the corrosion?
yeah, you want to go to the next? Is the next slide?
I'm just trying to speed this along a little bit.
Okay, sorry. Basically,
We got a lot of items to take care
okay.
of, so.
Basically, we would take the old cylinder, we hang the car, drop the cylinder off the bottom of it, and we pull everything out of the ground. We put PVC down in the ground now that's completely sealed, and then we drop the new jack in there. So there, then we'll backfill with sand. So there's no water that can get inside the cylinder itself. So that's kind of our safeguard. If the hole is too small, or there's a lot of limestone around here, we have used basically a polyurethane liner that goes over the jack. That's also, it's really tough plastic that prevents the jack from getting any water to it as well. So it's very it's one of the most labor-intensive things we do besides actually putting in a full elevator. So you actually have to suspend the elevator above you and then take all the means that used to hold the elevator up out of the ground. So, we do have 2,000 pounds hanging above us. So, but we're doing a jack over at K-State now, and we've done numerous ones around the state already. So
and I apologize if this formatted weird with the email, but I just kind of want to go over this slide because this shows us what the schedule looks like for a project like this. So the approvals, that varies depending on how many signatures we need and when we get all the signatures from you guys, the purchaser. The fabrication and the manufacturing is a process that takes 4 to 5 weeks, and then they ship it to us. And then the actual labor performed by us is 3 weeks long. So we're looking at about a 2-month process here until this project gets finished. So.
What's the backup plan if this one goes out completely and it's not in 2 months?
If the elevator's down now.
It's down now.
yeah, it's down now.
use it now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been down.
So it's going to be 2 months before we get it back up.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's our alternate plan right now that we're using?
There isn't one.
There's a,
This is it.
So we just do nothing?
No elevator.
for 2
They're,
months?
they're basically carting stuff
Yeah.
up and
we
down the
have the real
stairs now. I
need
believe.
for it. It's moving forward as we get into construction, and then with the new chemicals that are going to be in the plant, and get them up and down.
Well, they said this is a critical path item for
Construction.
hauling equipment and supplies in for the reconstruction of the water plant. So
Which is
the
gonna
2
s-
months is going to be critical
Perfect.
path.
Yeah.
I think Travis kind of already went over what the job entails, so we'll go past this slide. But we'll just kind of go over our proposal. As Mr. Dinkle already said, that the price is there. We added a 10-year warranty to be a little more aggressive with this proposal. So if anything happens with the jack, as long as ThyssenKrupp has a service contract with the city of Junction City, we will warrant that jack entirely. The one thing that we need to talk about is work by others. Removal of spoils is on special considerations. I believe it's line 2. Once we take that jack out of the ground, there's some sand and other material that will fall into that hole, and we need to have a third-party company come in and clean that hole for us. There's 2 ways we can take care of that. We can turn this into a turnkey project where we schedule, we pay the third-party vendor, we take care of everything, and that price goes up a little bit. Or you can employ that vendor and basically have 2 different invoices. We would still work with them with scheduling and making sure everything lines up. It's a little more expensive for us to do the turnkey, of
What
course.
does that cost typically?
Generally, it could be $2,000 to $4,000. And that's a guess, depending on how significant it is. So I'll let Travis kind of go over the worst-case scenario, which is potential for a total hole collapse and having to re-drill.
So, obviously we don't know what's in the ground. Back in the day, there was some elevator guys would leave the hole empty, and then it would, fill up with water, so there was a space in between the jack and the ground. Some people would fill it full of concrete. Some people would fill it full of sand. You're supposed to set the jack in sand. But once we pull it out, the sand obviously will fall to the bottom of the hole. So Ready Services is typically who we use. They'll suck sand out, they'll suck the hydraulic fluid out, and then they, through it's not OSHA, but they'll properly dispose of all the contaminated soil. They usually suck the water out for us and any water jetting that we might need if the hole's not deep enough. So, but typically we do offer that paid by separately, so there's no markup to it and everything like that. So, you know, a lot of companies have went with that just to save a little money. So, but if there is a major hole collapse and we have to bring a driller in, then that is what we call the jack hole clause. And there would be additional monies for that.
Could also do that again without sales tax. We do it ourselves, right?
Yeah, do it ourselves.
But we would do all the scheduling and that. They would just invoice you.
Sure.
guys.
So my colleague has worked with ThyssenKrupp for about 16 years. He said he's seen that happen 3 times. So the possibility of it happening is small, but it does happen.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long's that elevator been in?
I'd
That is
have to look
Don't know.
that up. I apologize. I'm not sure.
Probably,
haven't had
probably
the
the original,
contract
probably what, the
It's-
80s or something?
It's original to the plant, but I know,
Yeah,
yeah, it's original to the
30
plant.
plus years,
Building is 30 plus, isn't it?
It was built in the 70s, the plant was.
40.
40. Okay.
That's a pretty good life.
So when y'all
Okay.
pull it out, you just gotta be careful not hit them walls so it doesn't collapse it then.
correct. Yeah, basically pull it up 8 to 10 feet at a time. Take a cutting torch, cut it off, and we hoist everything out of there. And then when we put it back in, basically all the cylinder pieces screw together, and then we have a welder come in, weld it, and we sand it smooth. So
Environmental considerations?
that's Ready Services. Takes all the old stuff out. We recycle all the metal, unless you guys have something else you want to do with it. Other than that, we use a wastewater trucking company to dispose of all our hydraulic fluid, and then we put new hydraulic fluid in the system.
There's no testing required for the integrity outside the jack hole?
What do you mean?
Oil spill
Soil.
is the soil.
testing?
I've
No
never
requirement?
had, no.
Okay.
What else?
I'd move to approve the elevator project as described.
Second?
You have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
None here.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item this evening is going to be the consideration of resolution number R 2824, the fringe benefits for the police officers not represented by the Junction City Police Officers Association. I'm going to recluse myself from that and turn it over to the Vice Mayor Landis. Thank you.
It's a lot of pressure.
Vice Mayor and Commissioners, this, of course, was discussed last time. The city attorney has done a resolution that, in essence, to make a long story short, approves and makes firm the agreement that was signed on February 12th of 2010 between the city manager and the chief of police. And extends the benefits that were
They're equalized
Offered by
between
that
the
time.
two.
And in the same,
yeah.
kind of in the same spirit, because Alan and I were talking about this, I added a provision that in essence for people who were hired after, the effective date of this resolution, if you also want to give them the same treatment, if these would be police officers with the rank of lieutenant or above who are promoted after the effective date of this resolution, which is tonight, they would also receive the same similar benefits as are in the then current collective bargaining agreement at the time of their promotion. Because otherwise it was going to be confusing about, how we dealt with people.
Should be equal between the two anyway.
Yeah, so that, I did add that, that's optional, but Alan and I were talking and we thought that kind of rounded out the whole concept here. You can change this in the future if you choose to.
City Manager, could you explain the last sentence of staff recommendation?
If I can find it, there it is. I just think that, the only concern, and I've read it, is this is not, there's going to be other non-union employees in other parts of the city that may have similar requests or different requests, and they're not included in this. This strictly dealt with the so-called side agreement that we
So
discussed
there
last
could be
time.
other side agreements
There
that you're
was
not
none.
aware of?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And I researched, after found this one, I researched all, and we know of none.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure there's not.
Any other questions?
Mr. Dinkle, did you have an opportunity to speak with both sides? I know you usually do that, but did you talk to all the officers?
I met with the groups of lieutenant, met with them twice.
Okay.
And they had officially or unofficially appointed a person to meet, to kind of be the liaison, Corey Odell, Lieutenant Odell. And so when Katie sent me this on Thursday night, Lieutenant Odell and Chief Breesy received a copy right away for comments to me. Corey made he had one question, and I said, it's all there. And yeah, it's been totally related with Corey. And I'm assuming I didn't worry about him. He kind of came forward as liaison. I'm not sure how official it was, but apparently he contacted them all. I'm assuming he did. Good. Good. Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
What is the will of the commission?
I move to approve Resolution R 2824 as previously described.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
None here.
All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0 with one abstention.
Okay, thank you. Next item up this evening is going to be the consideration to award the police department interior lighting project bid to Dave's Electric in the amount of $25,500. Chief Breesy.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, I come before you tonight seeking approval to retrofit the interior lighting of the police department located at 210 East 9th and the warehouse located in the 300 block of East 9th, Junction City, Kansas, with LED technology. The lighting within the department we opened that building December of 1989, 28 years ago, and it still has the current old fluorescent technology. The ballasts and lights themselves continually go out, causing them to be replaced. Current LED technology average lifespan, I'm told, is 50,000 hours, or at least 13.7 years if you use 10 hours a day. On May 24, 2017, the Junction City Police Department had a pre-bid meeting and had 4 contractors show up. On June 7, 2017, we had a bid opening and received 4 bids. The bids were as follows: Dara Electric, $54,025; ECI Systems, $41,700.17; Countryside Electric, $33,900; and Dave's Electric, $23,000, and we added $2,500 because in the bid we asked to add that for incidentals. The budget impact on this would be paid out of asset forfeiture, and it would have no impact on the budget. There was a question about how the bids went out. My lieutenant, Scott Popovich, I believe followed all of our protocols and sent that over to City Hall, and it was put out by advertisements, and the bids were opened on June 7th. Staff recommends the use of Dave's Electric at a cost of $25,500. I'd be happy to ask any questions that I can answer.
Should result in a decrease in utility costs, shouldn't it? LED should be a lot cheaper than fluorescent.
That's the whole purpose. We're hoping it significantly reduces it. We're hoping it's not, they take out every light fixture. Most of them will be the same light fixtures. It'll just put new bulbs in and new ballasts in there. And some of them may have to be changed depending on where they are. But we've already added some to test it out in our investigations, and one set of lights just is incredible, the amount of light it actually puts out.
It will say it'd probably give your police officers a lot better lighting in the department.
Yeah, in some places, you walk into your office and you think, dang, are the lights on? And so they're need to be replaced.
Thank you.
I move to approve the increase of the improvement of electricity to Dave's Electric at a cost of $25,500 to our Junction City Police Department.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
In here, Madam Mayor.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Next item this evening is going to be the consideration to purchase a training system from Milo Range Training Systems in the amount of $32,480. Chief Breesy.
Madam Mayor and Commissioners, I come before you to discuss the consideration to purchase a Milo Advanced Range Trainer. The Police Department seeks approval to purchase this through Milo Range Trainer. It's an interactive tool used for virtual law enforcement tactical judgment and firearms training. The system is mobile, which will meet the police department's requirement due to limited training facilities. The system will include, when you see X26Ps, that's a taser, and another taser we carry is called the X2. The following bids were received for this type of training. The Milo Advanced Training System, the cost of it with no equipment added is $24,900 and some dollars. The FATS training system starts at $45,000 and the Vertra starts at $25,000. The two-system Vertra and Milo, the base cost is pretty much the same. It's the add-ons, and our add-ons for this to purchase those extra tasers and their training weapons came to another $7,480. There are no special considerations. This will be purchased out of asset forfeiture funds, and it is our recommendation that you approve this. Be happy to answer any questions about the Milo. Some of you might have already seen it. We had it there about a month ago. I was a trainer on FATS and firearms training simulators at the State Police Academy. It's phenomenal. I know, I believe Commissioner Sands was there one year, and it is something that's almost vital to what we do. We have a great training program. We send officers all over the country to the best training schools that we can, but this is type of training that they've only got at the academy, and so we're looking forward to having something like this.
Well, I know I had the opportunity to go and view the Milo Range Trainer when they were here demonstrating it, and I thought it was a phenomenal system. The officer was able to go through the scenarios and get instant feedback in training, so I thought it was a very, very good system.
Chief, I have one question again. What the Vertra and the Milo, is the Milo something that more of the police departments use, but you mentioned that you also use FATS at the police academy? And
It's
what
just
was the Vertra?
They're both, all three of those are virtual reality type, where you see something on a screen and you have somebody sitting behind a desk that's changing the scenarios as you go based on what the officer says. The person may get out of the car and say something and the officer responds, and based on the way the officer responds, the person at the computer can change the scenario right there. He can make the person say something that corresponds with what the officer may have said. And so it's not just they see a video screen and then they act. It's all being manipulated as they go. But all three of those systems are pretty much, they act on the same basic. This Milo has about 700 videos that are loaded into it, and we can change it according to what we want to train on that day, week, year. And so they're pretty much all the same, and some are even more interactive than others. If we wanted to upgrade, some of the machines will actually shoot little rubber balls at the officer. Cool. And but they'll also tell where, if the officer has to use deadly force, if he fires his weapon or fires a taser or strikes, the machine will give automatic feedback on a review and will show where the shots hit, where he hit with the taser or the pepper spray, and it will show right there. You spray something, it'll show like a pepper spray blast went out and hit the screen. And then we'll discuss, was that appropriate? And was it appropriate to shoot the person or tase the person or hit him with a baton or a taser?
This Milo system was, we brought it here under our liability insurance company, MPR. And they bought the Milo system in predominantly used for small cities because it's not something a small city can afford. But the purpose of it was to begin to reduce the liability on for insurance because of the high risk and the environment we are in with police interaction now. And the more the officers can use this, the less likely they're going to be to make a mistake.
Well, I'm a strong proponent of virtual reality. We did it in the military to save rounds of ammunition, which are quite expensive. But I just need to know why the difference of 7,000.
Oh, the price differences.
Yes.
The price difference would be, they're both Vertra and Milo, base price, pretty much the same. It's like $5 cheaper for Milo. It's the stuff that we need to operate, taser, X2 taser, a thing of pepper spray, that all costs, it's very expensive. Our regular taser costs us $1,000. An interactive taser costs $2,500.
So that's
for
included
this.
in the Milo?
That's extra, but it's the same thing. The prices would even be more on Vertra and FATS.
Okay.
So I guess what he's asking is why do you think FATS is so much more expensive?
Actually, I'm just asking, why should we go with Milo over to Vertra because it's $7,000 more?
Well, it's not really. I guess it was the way we put it together. If I was to add the same pieces of equipment to Vertra or to FATS, it would be even more.
Okay.
And so adding the same equipment, Milo was the least expensive.
And the Milo was good. At some point, you said it's mobile, so will we need a facility, though, at some time to set it up in to make it?
No, we have our training room, but let's say I wanted to take it over to the sheriff's office, we could. If I wanted to take it to the Marriott to give a demonstration, we could.
Okay.
Here, I mean, you need a computer and a screen.
Okay. No, it was good.
Was the bid specification not the same for all companies?
Yes, we looked at the same equipment.
Why don't the numbers reflect the
He
same?
should have put down that the Milo was 25,000 is what he should have put on here, and he didn't. Instead, he added Milo plus the additions that he added on.
I would have done it for everything, so you
Yeah.
get a true apples to apples. Because this just kind of makes
Yeah.
it stand out a little bit.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Just in the future.
At best, it looks confusing to anybody
Yeah.
reading it.
Us non-trained people, we need a virtual training for
You're
city
confusing them,
commissioners too, I
Dan.
think.
I did have a question, though. You said it came with about 700 scenarios, so you'll have the opportunity in the future to get more scenarios? Or
Yeah, and one thing about Milo is they have a maintenance agreement that's also different, and they have, I think the first 2 years, it's upgrades is included, which the other two aren't. And so we had the opportunity to, the Milo representative that was here for 4.5 days, I thought it was 10 times better than FATS, which the State Police Academy has, and their machine costs $100,000. Okay, and maybe it's a technology 12 years ago that I used to run that, but now I see this like, wow, of course, technology has advanced so much, but...
I liked it. It was good. And it was interactive. One policeman came up, and it looked like a 3-person scenario going in. He says, come on, follow me. That was ideal. You can't get that in a lot of simulations. good system.
Any further discussion?
I make a motion to approve the purchase for an advanced Milo range trainer at the cost of $32,480 for our Junction City Police Department.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item up this evening is going to be the consideration of the 2017 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant application. Chief Breesy.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, this is a reoccurring grant that we've had probably for decades. The Police Department seeks approval to apply for the 2017 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant through the JAG, through the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Bureau of Justice Assistance. The Police Department is eligible to apply for the grant funding through the 2017 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant. The Police Department is mandated by the agreement with the Junction City Police Officers Association to replace body armor every 5 years. The department needs to replace five vests in the fiscal year covered by the grant. The total cost of the vest is $4,057.15. The amount of the grant is $2,028.58. The grant requires 50% in matching funds. The 50% match is budgeted in the general fund in the Police Department's uniform account. There are no special considerations. Staff recommends a motion to proceed with the application for the 2017 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer that. When it says 5 years, that's what the manufacturer will only warrant them for, and so we have to basically get rid of them every 5 years.
Well, I think it's a good program, a good grant program. At 50% of the cost, it definitely is a good program.
Would move to approve the grant application as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Nothing
All
here.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item this evening is going to be the consideration to purchase sound mitigation and communication headsets for SWAT entry team operators from Botac.com in an amount of $12,801.44. Chief Breesy.
Madam Mayor and Commissioners, I come before you tonight to look at the consideration approval to purchase sound mitigation and communication headsets for SWAT entry team operators. We request this safety equipment, which will play a vital role in the efficiency and effectiveness of the Junction City SWAT team from a tactical and safety perspective. We request noise cancellation communication headsets for our operators. A study by the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health reported that in a 10-year study, 75% of officers reported significant hearing loss as well as tinnitus, even while using double protection. Police Department staff contacted 3 vendors to obtain pricing information. They are as follows. For the headsets, Botac.com, they were $530.14 each. SRS Tactical was $584 each, and Pelter.com TAC was $795. The Botac.com came up to $8,482.24. The communication radio adapter to fit our current radios is a sole source provider, since they're the only one that will fit our radios, and they're from 3M Pelter adapters. They're $269.95 each for our 16 SWAT team operators, which comes to $4,319.20. The total cost of $12,801.44 will be paid from asset forfeiture funds. The Commission may approve, table, modify, or not approve these items. Staff recommends the purchase of sound mitigation and communication headsets for the SWAT entry team operators in the amount of $12,801.44. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
What mitigation currently is being used?
We purchased, actually, none. We don't have anything noise canceling. We just have, they have their SWAT helmets, they have their communication device in their ear, they have a thing on here, a thing on their wrists where they can communicate, but we don't have anything that's actually protecting their ears like some type of helmet thing here.
Okay. Chief, I have one question again. I want to look at Pelter again. Not Pelter, excuse me, the BOTAC. You want to buy the Pelter, correct?
Did I say that?
No, Botac. He's buying the low end, the low bid.
Okay, disregard.
Yeah.
The Pelter is the adapters, which is a separate purchase.
Ah.
Two together equals the 12,801.44.
Okay. Thank you.
My only comment is, I think it is very important that our hearing, or their hearing protection is protected, so I think this is an important piece of equipment that the officers need.
I move to approve the purchase of the sound mitigation communications headset from Botac.com and 3M Pelter adapters in the amount of $12,801.44.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
No discussion here.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chief Breesy.
Thank you.
Next item up this evening is going to be the consideration of the revised agreement with the Junction City Police Officers Association for 2016, 17, and 18.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, I come before you to approve the revised agreement between the City of Junction City and the Junction City Police Officers Association for the fiscal years 2016, 17, and 18. The city met with the JCPOA on May 22nd, 2017, and June 1st, 2017, to discuss modifications to the existing agreement by and between the City of Junction City and the Junction City Police Officers Association for the fiscal years 16, 17, and 18. Both parties were able to agree to the changes outlined in the attached documents. The two things under that were wanting to change, one is didn't seem like a kind of a little thing. We just wanted to change the clothing and maintenance of uniform and clothing. We were handing out, let's say, like a little coupon. We called them chits. It's like the size of a business card, where we'd hand them out every paycheck, and they'd sign them and turn them in for one item of clothing being cleaned. Well, the cleaners that we use, they do a detailed billing, name, what the item is, and my secretary logs that and keeps track. So we already know what they're using. And so we feel that why would we continue to purchase these coupons to keep handing out where the officer didn't need to turn them in, he didn't need to sign them anymore. And so we thought the best was to revise a contract, because it said we will hand these out every paycheck, these coupons. And so we changed that to say that they don't have to hand them out anymore. The language is pretty much exactly the same. I don't think there's any changes whatsoever in the contract other than they don't have to turn them in. We'll still track them. We'll still hand them the same amount that we always gave them, which was, I believe, 12 items of clothing every 2 weeks for officers in uniform, and those that are detectives, 18 clothing items every 2 weeks. It's the same, and we'll track them, and if anybody abuses it, we put in the contract that we will follow that and audit that in case somebody tries to clean too much. If you were at our police department, you'd walk around and you'd see these little green cards pretty much all over the place, and so it makes no sense to keep handing out things when technology is advanced. And so we wanted to clean up the language on that. The second thing was the rotational assignments to the Drug Task Force. A couple months ago, we decided to, in the best interest of model policies across the nation, most Drug Task Force operate on a 2 to 3 year rotation, and so we decided to implement that, and so we had to change the contract to reflect that. So officers or detectives or sergeants going into the Drug Task Force know that they are there for 3 years, no more, and then they rotate back to either patrol or detectives or community involvement or wherever in the department. So we changed the language to reflect that if a detective goes in, Right now, at 3 years, he has to come out, and he knows by volunteering to do this, he gets promoted to detective, but when he comes out, if he goes back to patrol, he loses that detective status and that pay. So the union agreed on that. If a sergeant goes to NARCS and they come out, they remain a sergeant, but they don't, they lose detective sergeant pay. And so that was agreed upon, and I think that it's something that we've should have done a long time ago. It's the industry standard, and I'm happy that we came to an agreement, and I can present this to you tonight.
Thank you.
All right, looks like no questions. I move to approve the revised agreement between the City of Junction City and the Junction City Police Officer Association for fiscal years 2016, 2017, and 2018.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Nothing here.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chief Reese.
Thank you.
Next item this evening is going to be the consideration of ordinance number S 3190, re-amortize the special assessments for Lot 2, Block 2, 14th Street Commons, addition related to the sale of a land bank lot to Donald Boyer Sr. Mr. Dinkle.
Madam Mayor and City Commissioners, last meeting, the City Land Bank approved a contract with, to sell that lot that's mentioned to Mr. Boyer. As you know, that land bank lots, the specials are put on hold, and then we're re-amortizing here. This will be for a 20-year period, just like we did Mr. Boyer last year.
There are no questions. I'd move to approve ordinance S 3190.
Second.
Any further discussion from anyone?
Nothing here.
All those in favor, please.
Roll call.
Roll call
Oh.
vote.
Roll call.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Landis?
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Commissioner Sands?
Yes.
Commissioner McAllister?
Yes.
Okay, so that, thank you. So now we're going to move into the next item this evening, which is going to be the commissioner comments and committee reports. Commissioner McAllister, you first.
I have nothing to add, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sands?
Not much. Friday, I got to attend the Flint Hills Regional Council for Commissioner Ryan.
Thank you.
And it was a good, close at least, and we had some good Alma cheese there. Good briefbacks by elected officials at the state. They were all pretty cordial, and they agreed on a lot across, as I say, across the aisles, and that was really good to see them work together. The one thing that came up from that I caught my attention was there's a grant that the Flint Hills Regional Council got for $25,000 to increase arts and historical awareness in the state of Kansas. And as soon as I heard that, I thought about the Kansas African American Historical Trails. We will be meeting, but it'll be after sundown salute, after we get some of that stuff, to see how we can bring that together with the CVB, the city, the Historical Society, to see how we can bring that. It's for the regional council, but I figure first in, first out. Also, today we had our CVB board meeting. Babe Ruth is coming in, looking for volunteers. Contact the CVB or Eddie. Sundown Salute is less than 2 weeks away. We need lots of volunteers, and we're looking for people who can sell beer. We're looking for people that can help sell tickets.
Sell. I just want to make sure that was clear, is to sell it. I'm teasing.
Okay.
Not buy it.
Or other activities.
Oh, I can.
Buying's fine.
Buying's fine.
Buying's good, actually.
Yeah, it's
Sell
good.
it, not
We
drink
recommend
it.
it.
Sell. To take in to help pay for Sundown Salute. Float Your Boat's coming. Biplane was a success. Symphony in the Flint Hills was a wonderful success. And our transit is doing extremely well. And I won't give that a brief back because possibly we may be getting that in our Monday sessions. Madam Mayor, that's everything that I have. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
being here.
Thank you. Commissioner Ryan?
Thanks to Jim Sands, I don't have anything to report today.
Oh, great.
How's the farmer's market going?
The farmer's market is going great, although last Thursday we closed at 5:30 because of lightning.
Yeah.
And,
Needs double food this week.
but the market has been well attended, and the EBT machine is getting quite a bit of use at the market this year. Glad to see that happening.
Great.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Landis?
A few things. Regarding Mr. Catallo's request earlier in the meeting, I mean, it's my understanding that the senior center is a county facility. So sometimes what's forgotten is that Junction City is actually in Geary County, and that the Junction City residents already pay 78% of the taxes that are collected by the county. So I think if that request needs to be made, they need to make it to the county that they need more money. And so the city residents don't get hit twice for the same thing. So, and I would also be very leery of that being an open-ended donation. I think we have enough bills to pay as it is. I mean, we're very supportive of what they do out there. They do great things, but I'm very concerned about us acquiring another item to pay for. So, 3 cheers for the Junction City Brigade for breaking their losing streak last night. We had a good crowd out there. The weather was beautiful last night. I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. So the things that I would just like to mention this evening is I was glad that we were able to do that proclamation for the 1st Infantry Division, but also the Army's 242nd birthday was June the 14th, and I was able to go to division headquarters and speak on behalf of our community in our relationship with Fort Riley and help cut the cake that day, which that was pretty, it was nice to do that. I also attended recently the ribbon cutting of Thomas's Taste of Chicago on 7th Street. It's a very, very good restaurant. They have very good food, and the folks that own it or the restaurant are very nice, and I hope you get the opportunity to go and try some of that food. This Thursday, just a little reminder, we have our Mac breakfast at the Marriott. Right now, there's over 200 people attending it, and it's a culmination of my project I worked on, What is Your Big Red One Story? So out of the 100 veterans that I interviewed for that project, 70 plus are signed up to attend that. So if you get the opportunity to sign up and go, you probably better do that pretty quick. Also that day, I'm going to be giving a presentation to the Realtor Association, and also that Friday evening, the American Legion has asked me to come and speak. Their boys' state is having a dinner that evening, so they want me to come and speak a little bit at that. So those are the things that I've been involved in or have coming up, as well as I'm part of a team that's called an Image Group, where we're looking at ways to continue to improve our community, whether it's picking up our community or looking at some of the codes and stuff like that. Those are things that we're working on. So that's what's been going on in my life. So with that, Mr. Dinkle, do you have anything?
Of course I do. Thank you. First of all, remind us on excuse me, on JC Post earlier, Senator Longbine will be on JC Now tomorrow morning. So I think we're real fortunate as I look around the state of having the representation we do have. We have, if you count Senator Hawk as well, we got 4 people that I think keep Junction City in mind for the most part. Very easy for us to work with, for me to work with on a day-to-day basis. When I need something, they're there for me. So just good support of him. Joint City-County meeting, and I know Commissioner McAllister's out of town Monday, but Joint City-County meeting on Monday. If you have any agenda items, let me know. The county had a few items on there. There may be some items that we'll talk about, but so let me know. If not, it'll be 5 o'clock on Monday at the Opera House. you've read about the sports complex that's been kind of put on hold. We've been approached, and I don't know if they've contacted you yet or not yet, but the sports complex money was funded by the county CVB, Convention and Visitor Bureau, or Transient Guest, not the CV, but the Transient Guest Tax. They would like to make improvements at our ball fields for the upcoming tournaments. Have they worked with?
I've contacted Eddie Reeder.
Okay.
We've had some just basic conversations, but he has another group he indicated this week that he's going to pull all together, and he has invited myself and then.
Okay, great. I think it's enhancements to our facilities, and it's not our money. I'm pretty good with that, you know. So Ed will be working with that, so have him involved with that. Do also got a letter yesterday in the mail. Last year, 2 years ago, I believe it was, we gave permission for KDHE to do some work at 223 North, adjacent to 223 North Washington Street, which would be at Washington 3rd. Fuel tanks used to be in that area. They pulled them out, contamination in the soil. They've done some testing. And I think their agreement all covered this here, but they are going to put a monitoring well in place, just so you know. It's going to take them an hour to put a monitoring well in, 2-inch PVC pipe with a 6-inch metal lid. I'm sure we have them around town and other places. We do, just to clean our soil up, and they'll work towards cleaning the water out from underneath us. So no cost to the city. We've approved access in the past, so no issue there. Just wanted to let you know about if you see something or get a call that what are they doing. They're only going to be there an hour, so might even get a call, but it'll go rather quickly. So that is all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Logan?
I don't have anything.
Ms. Beatty?
Last month, we reported to you that we had a deadline that we were asking an extension on for the CDBG program return of money, and I completed the paperwork back to them this last week and reported back to them through the first quarter of March. The amount that we were returning to them was $377,993.82, and the homestead affordable housing, after we went back and looked at the actual amortization schedule and loan, we had to pay back that loan, which we took out of our EDC fund, $66,329.97. So $66,000 is what we had to pay back because Homestead Housing had only paid $34,000 towards the $100,000 that they had owed. With that in total, the check was $444,323.79. The letter I gave and responded back to them basically said that these was the additional paperwork that we had, which was not much, and that as we receive income twice a year, we have to still do an biannual report, and each biannually, any income coming in, we'll just cut a check from the previous quarter. And so as the money comes back in, it is not our money anymore. It'll just go to the state, and they agreed to that.
So how much more do we owe them
On any outstanding balance
then? And are we
on any loan.
We're going to try to collect some of that?
We'll be responsible for collecting all of the loan money that's outstanding, including those that are delinquent, and up to and including taking them to court. Mr. Dinkle and I have discussed the options on that, and we'll likely hire a local attorney to file judgments in district court. I haven't proceeded with that. As soon as budgets are over, we'll start that process, and the state knows that. I had to tell them what I was going to do in the response letter. And so we will hire a local attorney, and then we'll go to court and file judgments against the ones that are delinquent, which is 7 accounts.
I don't think people need, there's always a concern, what are we going to do to fund projects? First of all, we haven't had a request for over
2 years. We haven't had a request.
2.5 years. Secondly, the EDC has the e-community funds.
You can still apply.
And they
for it.
can still apply.
The state has control,
Just-
not
yeah.
us.
Correct.
Which is going to be better and monitored. The thing that happened is, right or wrong, this fund the money was given out, not all of the requirements. And every time you want to start beating yourself up, in last week's EDC meeting, everybody's beating themselves about this thing. I'm going, there are some very successful projects in this town because of this funds. So We're
Yeah.
basically started with 400,000. We still had that plus interest left. The money held together. We got a lot of business started. You know, wire harness is probably the biggest one that.
Koloff Pharmacy.
Yeah, co-op, but they're still, yeah, but, yeah, wire harness is probably the biggest employer that started from a loan. So it's been good. Mickey has a lot of sources, so it's not a concern as far as reaching out and.
And just
helping
because
our
we
business.
don't manage it doesn't mean that they're not, that our local businesses still won't have access to it. The really mistake that was made was that there was a misunderstanding about what qualified for a loan, and that under the EDC department, which was on the city at one point, and the EDC board wasn't following the rules and guidelines that they thought they were following. There was a misunderstanding of what the rules were. The city's fault is not overseeing them close enough, our staff, and that's just lack of staff. We just don't have the staff to do what we needed to do. I'm one finance person.
If we don't have the personnel, can we, even though it would help business people in our city, could we kick it back to state? Well, it is a state now, but if we can't run the program, we shouldn't have the program, right?
We can still access the program.
Yes.
And get the same amount of money. It's just that the state will do all the administration of it rather
We
than
don't have
us.
staff anymore.
We just don't have the staff. So
It's all in
it's,
state.
from Jolene and I's point of view, yay, it's gone. But from the business point of view, yay, it's still there.
Exactly.
You know, it's still there. They can still access the money.
It's where it should be.
Yeah.
Probably all along.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
We're also having a meeting about the dog.
Oh,
park
yes,
on
the dog park. I did go to the radio talk
One
show.
of us made it to there.
Yeah. And kind of started the beginning discussion about, hey, we're out there, we're going to do some improvements to the dog park. And we're going to meet internally with staff and Dr. Landis are going to meet to talk about more design issues. And then once we decide our design issues, then we'll go and make a cry for money and volunteers, because we're going to have, some money's already been donated, our pledges.
The
but-
public does have some input with things they'd
Yes.
like to see out there. Send an email to Ms. Beatty or myself
Right.
at the city website, and we'll be glad to look those over.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about location of certain amenities and what are the possibilities in the space that we have, and then go from there. So, and I stressed on the radio that government can't solve all your problems, so hey, everybody participate.
Thank you. Ms. Settles? Chief Breezy? Chief Johnson?
Yes, ma'am. On June 30th, we're going to have a speaker come in about leadership in the fire service. Invited the surrounding departments. It's from 9 to 11 at Station 2.
Thank you. Let's see. Ed, Mr. Lazier? Mr. Gurman?
Nothing, Madam Mayor, thank you very much.
Mr. Peterson?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Osborne? Okay. I think
Move to
we're done.
adjourn.
All in
Aye.
favor? Aye. Okay, we're done. Thank you. That was